Morel, thank you so much for jumping on and discussing your experience with my program. To give everyone that is watching an idea, Morel works for a nonprofit organization that strives to make life better for people living with Parkinson's disease, their families, and carers, which is so neat. First question for you is, what state was your ad grant in prior to meeting me?
We had it in a stalled state, so the ad grant had to be reactivated, and it was a little bit more difficult than you would think to do that. So it really wasn't doing anything.
Yeah. And so was it suspended? It was, right?
Yeah, it was. So because there was no activity, and again, not knowing that happened, there was no activity for a few years. It was suspended, then we had to reapply, and it was quite actually a process. And that's when you stepped in, Nichole, and helped guide us and connect us with the right people.
Yeah, that's right. Wow. It seems like so long ago, but yeah, okay. I'm remembering now. Spend level and performance back then. So can you think back to like prior to it being suspended? Do you remember like how much you guys were spending, or were you getting many leads?
No, I think that the ads that were set up back then were too broad, and they were probably not performing. They weren't in line with the business goals. So once the ads stopped, or rather the ad was suspended because of inactivity, it was really a redo of the whole platform because our business model had changed somewhat. So it was almost like starting from scratch. And I do you remember, Nichole, there was some old data in there that, and that wasn't serving us particularly well either.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So we basically rebuilt, from scratch. We didn't use too much data from the old build. What does performance look like now?
Oh, measuring is probably the biggest thing. So being able to get into the dashboards and just at a glance see how things are going. The way it is able to, again, there's been improvements in that platform. So it'll come back and give you guided suggestions, or fix this or do that. But it's easier to navigate and much easier to keep up to date. So for me, I'm more confident doing that. Much better because it's richer.
Yeah, very good. And so I just quickly pulled your performance for May. So do you mind if I share?
Of course.
Okay. So during May, you guys spent just around 5,000 of the entire grant. Now this seemed like it was a pretty big month for you guys. We got 21 calls to the organization from the grant, and there were 10 clicks to email on site. And then there were 31 new newsletter subscriptions. So that's roughly 60 leads just from the month of May on that $5,000 spend.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I think the newsletter leads, the email leads really does work for us. That's what people want. They want regular, frequent, up-to-date information. So that really works. But see, being able to just glean those statistics is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it took me a couple seconds, and it would be on the dashboard as well that we had sort of built. Gosh, how many months is this now? Because this is, I would say now the grant's like sort of in its full working capabilities, because that alone is 60 leads per month. But I think just to give like the viewers a bit of background, it has been quite some time since we've launched.
I think there was a lot of cleanup and tidy up. So you spent a lot of time just making sure everything was up to date. So I think that's where it feels like it was 6 months. But I believe we kicked off in about March with our ads. So by the time May rolls around, it's really gained some traction, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So now we're really, that whole learning and stuff is really working well.
So maybe we can say maybe 3 months, 4 months, but definitely starting to pick up traction, which is really good to see. So what advice would you give someone, or, a nonprofit marketer who is sitting on the fence deciding whether or not to enroll in the coaching program?
Oh, definitely do it. Definitely do it. So not only does Nichole, you assist and guide, you also empower and give us the tools. So it's not like a program where you basically share all the information. We take what we need, we adopt and adapt as we go along, and you're available to answer questions. From the beginning to now, I was daunted, like a lot of people are, with the Google Ad grants, because they're quite specific in their rules. And so I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to do that, because then we don't want to jeopardize anything with Google itself. But once you were able to just show us how easy it was, the spreadsheets that you shared with us, the tools, how to navigate it all, the maintenance and reporting, it just all made sense. And you made it seem so easy. I'm way more confident. So highly suggest do it.
Yeah, that is such a good answer. Oh my gosh, that's a really good one. Thank you so much. Okay.
You're welcome.
So what are some fears that you had prior to making the decision to go with my coaching program? So maybe like time commitment or price?
Yeah, I would say that for a not-for-profit, both of those are huge commitments. The spend is well worth it when you look at it and look at what Google is giving for you to spend to get your not-for-profit noticeable and rank better. It has roll-on implications. So definitely find the investment, or at least budget for it. If you can't do it now, definitely think about budgeting for it. And then when it comes to resources, just like anything else, we've got to make time for side projects, for our planning. Factor this in and give yourself the time, and do the video recordings, do the homework. It's well worth it.
Oh my goodness, your answers are too good. This is maybe like my advertisement, honestly.
But it's true though, right? Because I'm sharing my experience. And even though I was busy, it was crazy time. It's always crazy, but it was a crazy time. I knew that at the end of it, it was going to be well worth it. And if I didn't focus and absorb it, then, we've wasted all of that time, and then the money, the investment. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point. What advice would you give someone who is just about to start the program? They've already done their contracts, questionnaires, to help them get the most out of each session?
Yeah, I think certainly diarize and give yourself time in every week to just focus, avoid distractions, focus, watch the videos, read the resources ahead of each session, and then just be present when you come to each session. You will get so much out of it. That's my advice.
That is great advice. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer these questions today, Merrill. It has been so refreshing to work with you. So just to wrap up, if anyone watching is interested in confidently generating consistent leads with your Google grant without paying a pricey agency, then this program is right for you. So go ahead and click the link in the description below to get started.